Okay, on the agenda we have, go ahead and call this meeting to order. On the agenda we have a couple of amendments.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Welcome.
Thank you. Chantal Latlou with Indigent Services. The first case that I have for you this morning is case number 20220020. It appears that this applicant does meet all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. This case was submitted to Idaho Medical Review, which states that the emergency department services were medically necessary. The total estimated charges are $210,000. The only date of service that we will be looking at is October 31st, as this applicant became eligible for Medicaid on November 1st. So any of the services after November 1st will be the responsible of Idaho Medicaid. The applicant is unable to make the 5-year payment and has no other resources, and is aware of the $50 a month repayment plan and has committed to that repayment plan upon approval of this application. The next case that I have for you is case number 20220036. It does appear that the applicant meets all Idaho Code criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. This case was submitted to Idaho Medical Review, and they recommended a partial approval, which is outlined right there. And I'm not sure if you want me to read what is approved and what is not. The total estimated charges on this case are $422,000. The applicant is unable to make the 5-year payment, has no other resources, and is aware of the reimbursement program. Upon approval of this application, has committed to a $50 a month repayment plan upon approval or partial approval of this application at this time.
That just amazes me.
Do we still have that program where people can come work off some of their indigent stuff?
I am unaware of any such program. I've been here for 5 years. And I don't
They killed it. It was only allowed for certain things. I don't think in medical they ever brought it into. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case number 20220020 and a partial approval of 20220036.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
The next case that I have for you is case number 20220005. Our recommendation of this application is a denial pursuant to Idaho Code 31350225. This case was placed in suspension pending a final determination on the COVID relief funding program. It does appear that this applicant is eligible for that program, and the Bannock County Indigent Program does not appear to be the last resource for payment of this request. And then for case number 20220030, our recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 3135045. The medical records were not submitted timely, nor was a written request for suspension of the investigation submitted as outlined in Idaho Code. So our recommendation is a denial of that application as well.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we deny application 20220005 and 20220030.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
No, I was gonna kick it to you as far as I could.
There you are. Thank you.
Okay. Don't see Kyle here. Was he planning on attending, do you know?
Well, as far as I knew, it was him. I think Adam dropped out, but I think Kyle was still supposed to be here.
Well, let's go ahead and go to review and potential signature for City Works.
What that is we'd approved the component for City Works for planning and zoning in the budget, and so this is in speaking with Hal last week, they're ready to start learning so they can have a smooth transition in October, so we don't overlap city works plus their existing things. So this is just getting the ball rolling on them, as we talked about last year.
Okay.
Okay. I'm okay with it. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve signature for City Works implementation services as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. That didn't take long.
Do you want me to talk more about it?
Well, just kind of looking at the schedule there. We'll go ahead and go to resolutions. First resolution is 2022-2, and this is to increase the micro purchasing threshold for federal grants. And then resolution 2022-3 is salary approval forms for December of 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the resolutions as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. You didn't have the curve down, you do.
I know. Threw off the groove.
After that, we have letters and notices.
Anita was going to come for the letter of cancellations,
Was she?
but she wasn't anticipating coming until
I thought they was in Boise this week.
Anita's not.
Oh, okay.
So if you have questions on that, if you want to hold off, she was going to come, she was going to text me at 9:30 and see if you were close.
Okay.
But if
didn't-
you don't have questions. then-
I didn't have any questions. I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory.
I was interested that the Taysom's got their appeal granted.
Yeah. But it wasn't through us.
Nope.
So, the one is, do you have any questions on these?
I don't see anything, and
I just texted her and told her she'd get which one.
Okay, motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the tax. Geez, just lost it. The tax cancellations that's presented.
And then the other, oh, have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. The other item for notices and signatures was the bid approval for Streamline Plumbing right at the jail.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve bid approval as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. All right. Jason. Kyle's not here.
He called in relief. Tyson Coster, Bannock County Public Works. Just here to get the general service agreement signed for power engineering. So we've got a yearly contract with them already that's been signed, but the 3-year general service agreement, so if we need them to do work, has expired. So that's why we're here today.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about this?
Did they have a price increase on this one over the previous one?
So this doesn't have, this is just a general service agreement, so if we need them to do work, we can call them, and we have just like a service agreement contract with them. We already have the yearly price contract we did a month ago, and that's where we set had the limit of if we need them, we can go up to this amount for this year. That's actually when that triggered our general service agreement with them. When they got that documentation back, they're like, oh, the 3-year general service agreement's expired, we need to get it updated. So, and we looked, and I think Jeff is using our general service agreement on the HVAC system here now.
I think so too.
So it'll be all for Bannock County, so.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the general service agreement with Power Engineers as presented.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Just one signature. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyson.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next we have Braden.
Yeah, Braden Clayson, Chief of Staff. What we have here is a estoppel agreement regarding the Sterling Building's imminent sale. The new, or the potential buyer, would just like an accounting of what is in the building, who's in the building, property, things like that. You will notice there's a different amount financially on the contract than there is the estoppel. The contract was our old contract before we moved all the public spenders over there, so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm okay with that. You got anything? Jeff?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agreement as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. All right, Tony, we're within 15 minutes.
Tony Manu, Bannock County Sheriff, and Chief Deputy Mike Dahlquist. So we've been meeting the last couple months, try to figure out our jail staffing issue, and currently, as of today, we have 8 openings in detention, 1 booking, but we do have 1 in background. Actually, we just received the approval of the background, so there's actually going to be a job offer going out today or sometime real soon to cover that booking. Of course, there will be 1 opening, hopefully soon, because of the current situation with the other booking deputy, which we finished all those internal stuff. So currently, there's 9 detention openings, but we are having 1 opening filled on the 24th. She'll be starting on the 24th, so that leaves 8. So that's where I got the 8 from. So technically, there's 9. So through that process, we were trying to figure out ways to entice people to, number 1, retain the current, because we were having a lot of exodus of current detention deputies leaving and going to other jobs. So our focus was trying to figure out how we retain them and how to get people in to apply. So as we looked to try to figure out within the current budget of money that was allotted in our current budget on the jail side, we were able to identify how to plan to kind of discuss bonuses to current staff and new staff that gets hired. So we used kind of some of the salaries that you came up with, and we kind of gauged it based on the shortcomings of our detention staff on where it fell. As basically, it was about, for entry level, it was about 10.5% shortage. So we figured out if we did that 10.5% bonus for each detention staff that were currently here and any new hirees, and we did that every pay period, broke it out those payments within every 2 weeks, we came up with basically, I think it was $105,000 needed.
100,000.
100,000. And what's that?
100,900.
So, looking at our budget, we in our jail budget, we found some projects that we could put off to cover that shortcoming, to supply that those bonuses, and that's
Do you want to call them bonuses or?
stipends or
Yeah.
whatever
Yes,
you want
please.
to call them.
Tax
Yeah.
purposes, stipends.
Yeah. You want to expound on any more of that as far as in the budget?
I think, so if we move the 100,000 from the stucco, then that will cover all but $900. We currently have some positions available that are going to cover that $900. So we're not worried about that little bit of difference. The other side of that would be the benefits side, which is going to be $20,000.
On top of this.
On top of this. What I was gonna propose for that is, we make health insurance contributions every year to the health insurance trust. If we shorten that by $20,000, it will not require us to move any money within benefits. And it won't affect that trust.
So I understand that. So we put money in the health trust every year?
Within every department, we have, where their salary's paid, we have a contribution to health insurance.
Okay.
So, like in the clerk's office, it's $205,221. We pay half of that in December, January. We pay the other half in May or June. And that goes into the health insurance trust where we actually pay the bills.
Okay.
Just simply, it's easier to do it that way than to try and pay our $80,000 bill every weekly out of the departments.
So by shorting that, are we kicking the can down the road, or is that going to impact us in future years?
No, we should be fine for this year with health insurance. We've got some good reserves sitting in there.
Okay.
So reserves will just cover that $20,000 difference.
Okay. Thank you.
And the reality of filling 8 positions real soon is not going to happen. So we think those openings are going to be there, which will also provide more funding.
Yeah, we probably won't even need to move 100,000.
Yeah.
Because of timing of things. But that's worst case scenario, and we assumed that you would prefer to have all the monies up front before making the decision.
Right. And that 10.5 is based on each and every one of them's base salary. It'll be 10.5 on their base salary.
So if we get to, say, July, and you've still got 4 or 5 of these positions open, does that give us enough time to start the stucco project, so we don't kick that can down the road and ruin things?
No,
Actually,
not if I move the money.
right, and not if we, but the stucco project, when you go back and kind of survey what that was for, it could be delayed another year. I mean, it's not in bad shape.
Okay.
Nothing compared to what it was on that south side, not even close.
Okay.
But to go along with what you're saying, we are kicking the can down the road, no matter what we say.
Correct.
This is gonna be forever,
Yeah.
the monies that we're talking about for wages, so.
Right.
Replacing whatever we're replacing,
Well, and
in reality, we're kicking the can down the
the
road.
main stucco project was the project that was already completed. That was the one that we were worried about,
Correct.
where we
That's
actually
the
had stuff
big
falling
problem.
off. The stuff on the
Right.
backside it's not even close to,
Not even close.
actually, I think they might even just top coat it. And this is basically, it's like a paint coat, and those come in and knife it down, that's it. I don't,
If we get to the point of expanding, that's the direction we're going. is on the
Correct.
backside, so we may be throwing
Not-
money
I
after.
just.
Paving the road
didn't want
first.
to Defer more maintenance that maybe we,
Right.
could do if we don't hire and have to use all the 100,000 right up front.
So what we could do, if you want to roll with that concept, is we could just move 50,000 and then see how much money is going process, and then if we're going to need the money, we could move the other 50,000.
Does that cause you any stress if we do something like that?
It's just doing it twice instead of once. You guys will have to approve it.
I would prefer not to put off any maintenance if we don't have to.
Yeah.
And I understand the stucco project can wait, which, okay, that's fine. Is there something else that you could use that money for maintenance-wise?
Well, and that's probably the other part of that is trying to get someone there to even do it. I mean, we're up against the clock, the current projects that we got going and getting bids for, so we're hoping we get them all done. So that would be a challenge to try to get every single project done at this point, just because of the lack of contractors as well, so I
that's the
think.
biggest
Well, I
thing, is
like
everybody's
the-
getting pushed off.
50,000, go with that to start with,
And we are monitoring everything as we go.
then we'll move forward as
If you're
needed.
comfortable with that, Christie, I would prefer with that
You
as
guys go
well.
with that?
Could I just kind of, as I'm looking and doing salary analysis across the county, and I'm also hearing requests from departments coming in, for similar, pay increases of different varieties, differentials. So I'm hearing there's pressure across and seeing across the whole county. And the thing about the jail that's unique is these vacancies have been there for a year now. And there's so many of them, and like we said, 19 employees have left, right? That is not happening in every department.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got this balance of, hey, we're doing a salary analysis. We're trying to bring our salaries up to comparison with comparable counties in our region. But I do see that, and we're trying to tell everybody else to kind of be patient with us as we work through this. But I do see this as a unique, almost an emergency in the county. And so I do support doing something, along this line. But with an understanding that this is why we're not approving it for everyone, because this is a truly
Well, we've
unique
talked about this as
situation.
being a trial, and we've talked about this being an emergency, and we're not going into every department and doing the same thing right now, because you are working very hard on bringing up and looking at the whole county. And mid-year, we're not gonna do that.
Well,
On our agenda for Thursday, we have another department that wants to come in and
And this jail's the only one
talk
that,
about salaries.
you have to have people there no matter what. I mean, I hate to say this, but a lot of the other things, while they're court services or any other department and everything, it's not like the jail could just be like, well, we're gonna go home tonight and have a good time. It's actually the most critical one right now, and as the experiment, that's what it is. And we'll move from there. And as pay table, there'll be a suggestion to the Board of Commissioners for approval for pay. We can't do that in the mid-cycle. And the only one that I'm concerned about right now is you literally don't have enough officers at the current rate to continue without burning people out. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, you guys are managing right now, but you can only manage in overtime and swing shifts and doing things different, or split shifts, excuse me, where we just can't do that.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
throwing that in.
Did you mention how we were going to implement this? Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. I was grabbing
No.
something. Okay. What our thought was to implement this is we would do a separate salary approval form for
Oh,
the
yeah.
individuals that this would affect. It will be in the form of one-time payments every pay period. And on the top, it would have an expiration date of September 30th. So that the expectation is very clear. This is not a part of your base salary. This is a temporary, extra little bit of money to get us from February 2nd pay period through September 30th.
Yep.
And so we'll put those salary approval forms together, assuming you approve this, and then bring them back for signature. But I just wanted you to know that was how we were hoping that they would know it wasn't as part of their base salary.
Okay.
And it didn't go towards overtime or anything like
Right.
that. It didn't
Right.
affect the overtime.
Stipend.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And every pay period, this allows us to only pay the people that are working. So if you quit and we did it on a quarterly basis, then you might get the benefit and then turn around and leave. And you don't have to wait
Right.
for it. We won't have people coming to adjust their W-4s.
Okay.
So it seemed to be something everybody was happy with.
And it only affect from sergeant below.
Yeah. So I'm good with it.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, so do we want, are we gonna split it in the 50s, or do you just wanna do the whole 100, or how do you wanna do that?
I want to do the 50 if we can.
Do you wanna make the motion then? Because
Okay.
if you wanna split it that way.
And then I'll bring back a formal request for reallocation so that I can do the budget revision.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any further comments?
No, talking to the whole staff, I think it was, working through this was, we appreciate it, and I think it's the best way to go, and it was a standard 10.5 across the board. So there wasn't anybody that, well, I felt slighted here, or it was just all the way across the board. And it kind of brings us everybody up. We're delaying, like saying, well, now you're getting that difference, but everyone else is comparatively around around us. And until we can get to that salary study and figure out where we need to adjust. So that was kind of like we talked about in the work session. So we appreciate the work
Brian, any
everyone's
concerns?
done.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we authorize moving $50,000 from the B budget to the A budget to be paid out as stipends to the detention staff as discussed, as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's make it happen.
Thank you.
You guys,
We'll do that. Next one, I guess. I'll put it on the agenda for next one on the MOU. Yeah.
hey, Tony, I'll call you
Yes.
here in a minute. I need to talk to you.
All right, Christie.
We can choose not to go into executive session if we don't, the sheets I have, this is our quarterly unemployment. I took the names off so that if you chose not to go into executive session, we don't have to.
Okay.
Okay. If-
I'm good with that.
Yeah, if we don't have to, it's always easier.
You don't have any concerns about
No,
people?
as long as we just keep names out of it, we're good.
Thank you.
It's a shorter list, huh?
Yes, the list is getting better. There's no names. So once a quarter, I have to present to you the unemployment that we have to pay. This is paid through payroll. This list, like Ryan mentioned, is shorter. Currently, we have a clerk of the court prior employee, a jail prior employee. That one was medical reasons that she left. We have a landfill employee, that was a temp employee, and then sheriff program. It's 139.
Okay.
So we owe a lot.
So the second one,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what department?
It's the jail.
Jail.
She could no longer perform the job duties. Filed for unemployment. It was not disputed, therefore
Yeah.
the benefits are received. So
It's quite a bit more than the others.
that's because the others are temp employees or they didn't work very long.
Okay.
She, that individual was a longer term employee. They hated to see the situation be the way it was, but
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just-
options were,
Such a difference there that I
Yeah.
just,
we've had worse.
well, yeah.
So fortunately, we don't have any more of those. So I
Okay.
just need approval. That will be paid Thursday through payroll.
Okay. Yep. I'm good. We need a formal approval then, correct?
Yeah.
Acceptance? Is it an acceptance or an approval? Are we accepting this report, or are we,
Honestly, if you want to sign
just put it in?
that one, then I'll add it to my payroll stuff. It'll just cover us that you've approved it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and accept. There we go, see? The unemployment benefits is presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
And normally I pick these up, but because I don't have names,
Don't worry.
they'll just be gone. Or you give it back to me and I can get rid of it.
Here, you can
Yeah.
make it go away, because then we make sure we got them all the right way.
All right, thank you. So next we have,
Thanks for sharing.
there wasn't any salary rate approval forms. So we have minutes for January 4th and January 6th.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. And with that being said, we'll be